Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu
Assalamualaikum.
alaikum. How you doing, family? How y'all doing today?
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Hotep, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Bless, peace and blessing to everybody. We thank you so much, fam, for tuning in with us. We're gonna give everybody a few minutes to kind of get in here because we definitely don't want you to miss this today. We definitely don't want you to miss this today. Got a very special treat for you. And that special treat we're gonna give you a sneak peek into our new poetry book. We're gonna give you a sneak peek into our new poetry book. Uh-oh. Can y'all see that?
Come back a
Uh
little bit.
oh, I'm gonna bring it back just a little bit. That's called Sankofa Yourself Volume Number One. That's right. Sankofa Yourself Volume Number One. And we're going to be sharing some of that today. We're going to be sharing some of that today. So we ask that you come on in and tune in with us. As always, we thank you for tuning in with us because you could have been anywhere and everywhere doing anything. But we are thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us today as
That's right.
we go on a different side of ourselves, that creative spark. All right. And we are Mind Spark Creation. So you're gonna get to hear some of that creative spark that comes from our minds today. So if you love poetry like we do, this is the show for you. That's right. This is the show for you. And if you got some pieces that you would like to share, as long as they kosher and halal, as my wife said, then we can share some of those too. But this is what we want to do. We want to give a little bit of inspiration through poetry today
That's right.
because we have given inspiration for many different things, but we must always remember that Mind Spark Creations is a multifaceted thing, meaning that when you spark the mind, there's many ways in which that mind must be sparked. There's many ways in which that mind must be sparked. So, brothers and sisters, this is just one more way. And we have magnificent poets among our people like Nikki
Absolutely.
Giovanni and Maya
Maya Angelou.
Angelou and just Amira I forget his last name, but that was one of our great poets in the 60s that painted that picture for us, the last poets. They painted that picture for us of what was going on. Today, of course, that's transformed into rap music, and they are painting that picture to rhythm
That's
and
right.
sound, but it's still here, and we've been rapping our history for a long time. We've been telling the people about what was going on with our history for a long time through the art of poetry. That's right, through the art of poetry, we have been telling people for a long time, family lineages, how battles were won, the
Mm.
beauty of a woman, the beauty of a man, the beauty of children. We've been telling about these things for a long time. Matter of fact, many people don't know it's a black man that wrote a poem that sits inside the Kaaba in the holy city of Mecca. That's right. You heard what I said. There is a poem that sits inside of the Kaaba in the holy city of Mecca that was wrote by a black man. We learned that from a beautiful book called The World's Great Men of Color. If you don't have that book, we got it available for you if you want it. And there's so many other people just like that you can learn about in that book. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about
This book.
poetry. This book
This
right
book.
here. This beautiful book right here called Sankofa. Sankofa means to bring back into remembrance. Sankofa yourself. Bring yourself back into the remembrance of yourself, because we already know that we have lost. We have lost. My beautiful son went to go and get the book so you all can see the books I was talking about by J.A. Rogers. This is something that you definitely want to get for yourself, your children. This is a great way to teach them about their culture way beyond the cotton field. Now that was volume one that takes us back into ancient times, and this right here is volume number two, which brings us a little more current. J.A. Rogers, beautiful, prolific poet. We got those available, book
They
one,
good
book
reads.
two. So they are great reads, short, some of them short, some long. But if you want your children to know their history, you know a lot of people are homeschooling right now. This is a great Black History course all by itself. The World's Great Men of Color, Volume 1, Volume 2. But again, we're not here to talk about that. We are here today as a day of poetry. That's right, a day of poetry. Now, I know my wife says that she don't rap, but today you gonna get to hear her do a little rap, not
Okay.
not necessarily to rhythm necessarily, but you're gonna get to hear her read from her poetic soul, because she's gonna be sharing in this today as we read these beautiful poems that God inspired your brother to write. I wrote these several years ago, decided to publish them. My mother is the one who was the inspiration of that. She's told me many, many years. She say you need to do something with that poetry. So, couple years back, fell down, broke my wrist in three places, and while I was in my cast, I typed three books. That's right, three books in the cast. Now my wife is a witness bearer
With one
to
finger.
what with a couple of fingers.
Uh,
Getting it done, getting
he
it
was getting
done,
it in,
getting
truly.
it done. So we were blessed to publish three books around the same time. This is one, Sankofa Yourself, volume number one, which lets you know there will be a volume number two coming out. Not too soon, but we got it ready. We really got it ready, but we want you all to enjoy this poetry right here. We want you to enjoy this poetry right here for a little bit. We were also blessed to um, go ahead and publish The First Day I Prayed, The First Day I Prayed, which is a beautiful Muslim children's
The
book.
commercial is running
And the commercial is actually
on our
running on
pages.
our page. It's on Mindspark Creations LLC on Facebook. Also, it is on Farcon and Tucson as well. So if you want to hear it, you know, definitely check it out. We'll drop the link to it before the show is over so you all can hear exactly what that beautiful book is all about.
All right. Well, assalamu alaikum, fam. Praying everybody is wonderful and well out there. We are excited this morning to
Excited.
start the morning off with some poetry,
Come on.
with some rhythm and some rhyme,
Go
and
ahead.
intertwined with the mind of Dawood and
Uh-oh, I
Nafisa.
told you. I told you she was gonna do a little rapping today, didn't I tell you
All
that?
right, that's all y'all get. 'Cause
I told you she was gonna do a little bit of rapping. So
I am truly excited. My husband's poetry is really one of the catalysts that bind us together. In the beginning of our courtship was a lot of poetry, unexpected, beautiful poetry. Now, I think the pieces that we're reading today are actually prior to us. We're not doing our love story today.
come on.
We'll come back at another time and give you all some of that, which, I promise you is going to be some cards for you all to be able to share with your loved ones
Yeah.
on your special days because they're, to me, they're worthy, very beautiful and very, very worthy. And so we're going to enjoy this book. My husband is going to do his, and I'm going to do one piece of his poetry today.
So we're gonna perform three pieces out of this beautiful book.
We
Um,
didn't give John me nothing to no poetry to read.
well, John B is going to be over there rooting us on today,
I mean, my bad.
and he can definitely, he's going to give us his thoughts on this. So one of my favorite pieces, fam, in this book, which interestingly is actually found on page number 12. That's right, page number 12. It is a piece that is called You Ain't Gangster. Now, this piece was inspired, I say that before I perform it for you. This piece was inspired by those who really think that they live in the criminal life. For those who really think that they live in the criminal life and they think they just doing it in a gangster way, well, this poem is for people who think like that, you know, because we want you to get a new thought on exactly what gangster is. All right. Okay. So we go ahead and I'm gonna perform that one for you.
Okay.
You ain't gangster. All right. Hang in with your brother now. Hang in with your brother. And if y'all in the chat over there, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, okay? We want to hear from you. What's your thought on the poem? Once you hear it, we want to hear your thoughts on the poem, okay? So don't be ashamed now. Don't be scared. Then go ahead and drop something in there as you hear it. All right, here we go. Gangster ain't the crack man with $100,000 hand. It's the cultivator and orchestrator of the crack pack. Gangster ain't the murder of a crew or a gang or two. Gangster is the genocide being perpetrated on our brothers and sisters on the South African side with biological weapons, AIDS, and HIV. That's gangster. Gangster ain't the running of a block or a street. Gangster is the occupation of an entire country with a forced system of democracy on people who want theocracy. Gangster ain't the minimal robbery of a store in our community. Gangster is the oil snatch in Iraq. Now that's gangster. Gangster ain't the street gangs that don't run no thing but what is given to you. Help with genocide against yourself. Gangster is the radio, the TV, the newspapers, and the movie screens that can turn a whole country against you from their point of view. That's gangster. Gangster is not the street slang, but dumbing down of a nation around. That's gangster. Gangster is not having enough books to go around. Then you come out functionally illiterate. That's gangster. Gangster ain't you got on the wrong color and kill your brother. Gangster is Jim Crow when he tells you where you can and cannot go. That's gangster. Gangster ain't the revenge of gang banging friends. Gangster is the lynching, burning, mutilation perpetrated on us. How in the hell you gangster when you don't own the damn thing? Whenever they get ready to cut off the food and the water supply, they do. Does that sound gangster to you? If they ransack the hood on murder for what you gonna do? You got your pop gun, they got RVs and tanks. You ain't gangster. When King Leopold divided up Africa when people were still living in it and conquered it through the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, and the British, that's gangster. When Cecil's Rhodes killed millions of our people in the diamond mines, that's gangster. When they captured and enslaved 100 to 250 million people through division and technology, that's gangster. Stealing the whole of America, that's gangster. This is not the justification to kill or decimate a nation. This is a wake up call. Whatever dirt they let us do, it's not controlled by you. From moonshine to crack, from Glocks to AKs. Gangster is to have a whole nation economically captive where we supply none of our own needs to a people because of Willie lynching. The mass corporation making millions and billions of dollars off people's labor and paying slave wages. That's gangster. From pimping to scandaling, what you handling? To take away your divine rights to chastise your child, that's gangster. To create the penal system and make a new slave plantation, that's gangster. The genocide on the red man and the Mexican, that's gangster. So with your gangster walk, your gangster talk, your survival skills, you still getting pimped, played, hustled. So you ain't gangster. Gangster is to create a superior education for your seed to dictate your own way to lead, own way of your life to lead. Take control of your neighborhood and make it a great place to live. That's gangster. To defy and even die for your queens and seeds. That's gangster. Now this mess we manifest, God is gangster is being a provider and a teacher. Gangster is being a good husband to your wife. Gangster is taking care of your responsibility and not deny your seeds. That's gangster. Gangster is the removal of crack in the hood. Gangster is the reaffirmation of our illustrious history. Tell the world of your greatness and become greater than ever before to beat the status quo. Make the world respect us. It ain't rump shaking, weed smoking, disrespecting your woman when she's the way to improve your future. If she down, you down. Wake up and realize what real gangster is. Gangster is to compete with the world in every field from science to mathematics. Now, when we do that, we know we've gangstered our way back by God's grace to power. You ain't no gangster, you a survivalist.
Oh, praises to Allah. Wow. Let's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh,
Gotta get
praise
some
God.
finger snaps on that.
Oh, praise the due to Allah.
That's beautiful.
You know that piece. I wrote that piece many years ago.
Do you
I
recall
wrote
what your inspiration was?
just really our condition, just really our condition, and how we were treating each other, and we really think we doing it when if you listen to even those that's hustle dope, they'll tell you that the streets is dried up, which means what? That somebody else is in control of the crack. They'll tell you when they going to get all these AKs and street sweepers and all of that, we not manufacturing none of that stuff.
Right.
So that means that somebody else is in dictation over even the hustling that we doing, and that's real.
Mm.
So that's what kind of inspired that piece that I wrote. But I want you all to notice the book is purple. It has a purple cover, and there's a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad raising the black man from being messed up to, as you see, he got his briefcase and now he's straightened up and ready to go to work. So that's the actual reason for this book. It's the actual reason, again, to really make you Sankofa yourself, to make you go back in remembrance of the greatness of ourselves and settle on that part rather than any other part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when I listened to that piece, it really, you know how the saying is, black people are like crabs in a barrel. And so many of us have repeated that over the years. But then someone gave light to it. That's not the crab's natural environment. The natural environment is the sea and walking on the beach, right? Or walking down the street if you live in Belize.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true now.
Mm-hmm.
Sideway walk, right? But somebody had to put them in the barrel, right? So there's always a hidden hand. When it comes to the gangs in our community, fighting one another, there was an environment created to, encourage that kind of behavior. And we now have to bring light, to one another that this is not what we're doing is just murdering and killing ourselves. We are doing nothing productive. Everything is with gang life is destructive. Now, at one point, back in the day, some of the gangs would feed the children along with the Black Panther Party, and they would do things to protect the community. But all of that has gone by the wayside. That's not what gangs are at all. Right now, it's about murder. Unfortunately, fam, my niece, her boyfriend was out at a get together, and he was sitting at the table. Some other people had got into an argument. They left. However, people came back and shot up the house, and they shot that man in his chest, dead on on site. So now my niece has lost a lifelong partner. Really, I mean, her husband, as long as they've been together for a very long time. And now he's lost his life to basically gang. Gang is when you gather together really to commit a crime. I don't know if that's the definition. Maybe somebody
Let me
can
look
look
it
up the
up.
definition for gang because I want to be
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah, gang.
Look it up
That's
right now.
not what
That's not
gang,
accurate.
gang
I'm
gonna
That's
looking
have
it
what
to
up.
we've
be.
I
known.
actually,
That's what we
actually,
know.
at this
Though.
moment, they updated it to mean that it's so a gang, a noun, the noun version, an organized group of criminals. Sorry, a gang is an organized group of criminals, a group of young people involved in petty crime or violence, informal, a group of people, especially young people who regularly associate together, an organized group of people doing manual work, a set of switches, sockets, or other electrical or mechanical devices grouped together. Gang together of a number of people from a group, or gang up of a number of people joined together, typically in order to intimidate someone, with object arrange electrical devices or machines together to work in coordination. And the origin of gang comes from the Old English, from Old Norse ganger, ganga. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Gate, course, going, of Germanic origin related to gang. The original meaning was going a journey. Later in Middle English, a way, also set of things or people which go together.
Hmm.
And then they got go, proceed, gang.
That's enough.
Okay, sorry.
All
No,
right.
that's cool.
So
That's
if
cool.
you watch the gangs of New York,
Let me finish
go ahead.
my thought on that. Thank you. So basically, it was some gang stuff. At the end of the day, when the police do their reports, they're gonna say that it was gang associated, even though the man wasn't in a gang. He was sitting at the kitchen table, but because of a disagreement with other people, these group of people, could have been men and women, I don't know, but this group came back to retaliate, and they took it out on anybody and everybody that was in the house. So this type of mentality, when we're talking about gang, you ain't gangster. You're not doing nothing tough. You're not doing nothing heroic. You're destroying. What's gangster is us taking back our community and making it a better place in spite of the odds that are against us. That's gangster. And I just wanted to just say that how much I really, what I really got out of that poem, especially after what just happened. This happened Saturday night. Was it? Yeah, I think it was Saturday night. This week went by fast, but anyway, this just happened. And so now not only is my niece grieving, but her children who he helped to raise. He was a father to those who did not have a father. He was there for them and for the grandchildren. And so now, everybody is at a loss because unfortunately we have been sold some BS about being gangster.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, sir.
I agree. I agree. Again, we are reading from that beautiful book called Sankofa Yourself, volume number one. You can pick that up if you would like to at etsy.com/shop /Nafiza
Tell them to pull up Etsy. So at the
NAFEEZAALI. That's again etsy.com /shop /Nafiza Ali. So if you'd like to do that, you can. I'm gonna move on to the next piece. One of my
Anything anybody want to share?
anybody want to share? Anybody want to say anything? Please feel free to let us know that if you were here for that last poem, then definitely you know, let us know what your thoughts were. Let us know what your thoughts were, about that piece called You Ain't Gangster. If you just tuning in, I may read it again. I may read it again, but I'm going to read this next one. I'm going to perform this one for you. Now, I just want to say this. This was just a mindset that I was in at the time, and it was expressing the anger of how I felt. Now, it's not that was is who I think I am, and I know we need to take this word out of our vocabulary, but I meant it in the most revolutionary way. If you know about Malcolm, Malcolm made a poem, not a poem, but Malcolm talked about, had a speech where he talked about the house nigga and the field nigga. Well, this was inspired by what Malcolm was talking about, but it was also inspired by just thinking on our condition, really. Just really thinking on our condition and thinking about how we're not going to take that. We're not going to take the way that you used to do things. And that's what really inspired this piece right here. And this piece, like I said, again, forgive me, this piece is called I'm a Field Nigga. And I'm not saying, no, I don't think I'm a slave. Okay. I don't think I'm a slave. But as I was saying, this particular piece is just inspired out of that mind. All right. All right. And it goes a little something like this. Hit it. No. All right. It says, I'm a field nigga. Hell yeah, I feel like Nat, ready to pull the trigger on this wicked system of whom me and my foreparents weren't our victim, who made racism a thorn in our sides. Ain't it funny how we can be lynched, burned, castrated, demonized, enslaved, disenfranchised, families destroyed, male and female relationships made to become null and void, how we were kidnapped and entrapped on hell's decks for 9,000 miles, packed like sardines in a can and told we were three-fourths of a man, killed for being able to read, suffering at the hands of the clan and of hate-filled races with lust for blood who hired trains to see a black person hang, when slavery was politically, spiritually, and morally justified, when the priests, the rabbis, the imams turned a deaf ear and a blind eye. When my sole purpose for my sojourn was to clear the underbrush, to build your plantations, to build your economy 400 years for free. Oh, how quickly we forget the travesty of slavery and the lack of thought of humanity to be accursed for having black skin like me. Just thought to be a piece of property, having no soul, no culture, no history, a savage with a bone in my nose. But you ask me why I see me as a field nigga in my mentality. How dare you question that, Tucson, Dessalines, or other revolutionaries on the slavery scene? What comes around goes around. Oh, I remember the strange gifts, the ears, the fingers, the prick of privacy. You ask me how justified was it when the enemies of our freedom's life was spilled, men, women, and children killed? How can you even ooh and ah when you overthrew my family to shock? When the when the authorities found cargo not listed on your log. So you damn right. I throw up my black fist in the spirit of Nat Turner, Dessalines, Toussaint, and Nzinga. Say proudly and loudly, you damn right I'm a field nigga. through segregation. I remember the whites only toilets, cemetery, and water facility as though I was the disease strand. I still hear and feel the pain. Don't tell me to forget what happened to me. I will never forget and assure that my seeds know and see what happened to us to assure this happens no more. I would tell the story uncompromisingly with tears in my eyes on how then and now we are victimized. Now it's AIDS, drugs, poverty, and crack. Instead of a whip on the back, instead of an overseer, it's officer misusing and brutalizing me. So in reply, I say loudly and proudly that I'm a field nigger, and that's how it's gonna be.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that piece right there. Go ahead.
That was heavy. When you think about your role in life and how you play it out, because we only get a short time on this planet,
That's right.
and we have to choose. We have to choose the type of life that we're going to live. Are we going to remain, a slave with the mind of helping massa, helping this Caucasian white man who has destroyed, brutalized our community, or are we going to stand up for our future? Are we going to make a way? Are we going to be the pioneers? Are we going to be, those who take the first steps on the backs of our ancestors because they took steps, right? They allowed us to get to the point where we are. So now we have to decide whether we're going to push um, our communities forward, or are we going to constantly pull ourselves down, like when we were talking about, you ain't gangster. So in life, you have to make a choice and you have to get angry, but use that anger in a way that's going to push us forward, that's going to propel us into a greater future where our children can be at peace, where our senior citizens can walk down the street and not feel like they're going to be robbed because they got a couple of bags in their hand during Christmas time, you know? So it's a decision. It's decision time. This one brother on Facebook, he said he had to block some of his friends, like lifelong friends, because what they were posting was just a bunch of madness. Always us fighting one another and, destroying one another. He said he had to block all of that because he was on a different path. Meaning he put in his mind that he wanted to do something different. He wanted to live a positive life. He wanted to help the future and help our community. So when you decide that you want to do something better for us, then you got to surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing, right? So we can't be, what's his name? I want to say Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah, that's his name.
That's one of them, but the other one from
Django.
Django.
Oh wait, I'm trying to remember his
It
name.
don't matter. We know who he
Okay, well,
is.
the role that Samuel L. Jackson played, right? And that mind has to die. That mentality, the killing of each other, sisters, the killing of the babies in our womb, those things have to stop because that is destructive to our community. That doesn't help us become greater, better people, creating an environment. I mean, who is satisfied with what's going on in our community right now? I mean, even those that are out there committing the gangs and selling the drugs and, all of this fighting amongst one another, who is satisfied with that? That can't make you happy. It don't make you happy because you're on the phone talking with somebody about how this stuff is messed up. When we get into these dramatic situations with men that we don't even know or women that we don't even know. So, we have to decide what part are we going to play. It's easy in this world to get caught up. So you have to make a conscious decision that I'm not going to live that type of lifestyle. I'm going to be the type of human being that defends my community. I'm going to be the type of human being that's going to clean up the community. So today, instead of me going over to Bebe house and smoking a blunt, I'm going over to Kareem's house and we're going to go and clean up this community, or we're going to go over to David's house and David is going to be feeding the homeless today. Those are the types of things that I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to spend my life being productive and not destructive. I'm going to start my new business. These are the things, the choices that we have to make in our life, fam, because God is judging. God is real and he is judging and he's given us an opportunity to clean ourselves up. We have been given, men and women, over the years, countless men and women that say, come on, fam, come on to the narrow path, straighten yourself up, get yourself right. We got to do this, we got to do that. And we begging and we begging and we begging and we get pushed back. You know, I've pushed back when I was younger. I wanted to live that life. I wanted to go hang out in the clubs. You know, I never liked drama, but I like to see it through other people. I never was one that wanted to live that life, but I did live vicariously through other people's drama. But I never wanted that for myself. And so now I'm striving to create a better future, trying to live my life in such a way that God would be pleased. And I have peace in my life. Is my life perfect? No, but I have peace. I have peace with the God because no matter what is going on, I know I can find solace in Him. I know He is. That's secret refuge. So if something's not going right in my life, I don't go smoke a blunt. I don't go drink a 40. I don't have to do those things, and you don't either. Those things are temporary and they're not fixes. Those things are destroying us, fam. So, I mean, what I got out the poem, I know we're talking about poetry, but it was really about life change and really about making a choice on what type of life you are going to live, and either you're going to be one of those that help us or you're one of those that hurt us, and it's a place for everybody to make a choice. And I'm trying not to use the word, but a lot of us say, yeah, if I was back in slavery, I would have did this. Yeah, if I was with Jesus, I would have did this. I would have walked with Jesus. We have an opportunity today to walk with a man that is doing everything that Jesus did and more. How we can't get no more plainer than that. Minister Farrakhan is walking. He is creating miracles one after another. The Million Man March, yes, absolute miracle. The amount of miles that this man has traveled to save us across this planet is a miracle. I mean, Minister Farrakhan has been to the Middle East, he's been to Africa, he's been to probably every state in the United States several times over, speaking 2 and 3 times a day, 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 6 hours, you know I mean, countless meetings with the staff and with laborers, and he just pours himself out. This man is truly a miracle in our midst. He's walking around with probably half of his organs at 87 and still look better than so many of us. This man is a miracle and he's performing miracles. He put the spittle on my eyes, truly, fam. So I love Minister Farrakhan, and it comes out because I really want our people to appreciate the gift that we have been given, through someone that God blessed us with in our community. We've been looking up to that white Jesus like forever. We had pictures in our house where the eyeballs followed you around, him and his mama, but that's not the real Jesus. That's, we already know that's not the real Jesus, fam, for those of us who still believe that.
I want to say something.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna let you share. But we got a choice today, fam, and we've been given an opportunity to go right. And I pray that that is the choices that we make.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. On After reading that the poetry, like my parents were saying, uh, we have to stop rebelling. Like especially as youth, we have to stop rebelling. I know we're in the house with COVID-19, and you like, oh, now I gotta stay at my parents all the time. I want to, meet to go with other people, go with my friends, and all that. But as you see, that's very dangerous to do that at this moment. You really should stay in the house with your parents, and really try to work out your differences in a tone. And like I know, like some might be paying, bills and working jobs, and they're like, oh man, it's like this feels like the end, man. It's not the end if you find out number one. Number one, you have to find God basically, and you have to pray and work. That's that. Like, let me say that part, second part specifically, work. Because a lot of times we pray a billion times a day, but we not working along with praying, and so we can't, you know, get the results we want if you're not willing to work. Because that's what I'm working on, myself. Like because like you have to work in order to get results. Um, and I understand that some of us like an angry, might be angry, because we in this small place space with our parents and our dogs and stuff, and you really angry at yourself because you're not doing what you could be doing, and then you're trying to take it out on them, and like you get like they were saying the gangster mentality, and you were like you feel like it's not good, like you want to hurt your parents and all of that, and then you know that if you do that you're gonna you're gonna end up like on Everybody Hates Chris with a shooting yo. But anyway, side the point. You have to figure how to work out your differences and really not let your anger boil over. Because I'm gonna just give a recent news example that was really insane, and don't ever think this in your brain. And it was a Caucasian man and his son, and he was in the house, with his mom and everything, and then he's like, I'm gonna, kill my mom and stuff. And then he actually got a knife and tried to strike his mama, and the dad got his gun and unfortunately had to shoot his son. Because he just wouldn't, control and tame himself. So you have to actually, really definitely get into prayer and meditation, working out everything you can do so that your mind can really be at peace, and you not be so stressed out.
Mhm.
But I know, sorry, they got to read this other poem. My bad. Here you
Oh, you're fine, son. You are absolutely fine. This is your show, just like it's our show, and we want you to feel comfortable, with sharing what it is on your heart and mind, because those are some things that we are dealing with in our community, and not just our community, but in all communities, Hispanic communities, the Indians, they're dealing with things on the reservations with youth, and just anger and all of these things that are going on. And it has to be directed. So the piece that I've chosen to read is called Wrap Yourself in Blackness. Okay. And so that's going to kind of bring us to where we need to be, and when we talk about blackness, I want everybody on this, that came to visit and that will share this video is to know that all come from blackness. So this poem is about all of us. Okay. And so y'all know I got to take my glasses off to read, even though I can't see with or without my glasses. Mama got to get a little closer. Okay. So, whew, I've never done this. Um, Never. I'm not a poet. Y'all know that. I'm not a rapper. Um, yeah,
she's secretly a
that
poet,
was
but
that
she
was my
don't.
my 2 second rap. But anyway, bear with me and let's get this in. All right, so just listen to my voice. Wrap yourself in blackness. Come, my child, wrap yourself in blackness. Come purify yourself in the depths of the Nile. Come, my people, and learn of your ancient mothers and fathers, for you are an ancient child. Your depths run deeper than the ocean and wider than the sea. Come, my child, and scroll your most ancient of history. Walk with me, my sons and daughters of God, to past times, now to you unknown. Take a hold to the key of life, and let's journey through the unknown. Come, let us walk through Kemet, which means the land of the blacks. Let us see into the mystery schools there. Walk as the gods of math and science, language and history. Put history to the page. If you want to wrap yourself in blackness, this is how you engage. By reading your history through the pages, let us look at the ancient hieroglyphics and unlock knowledge untold. See the last resting place of the great pharaohs like Akhenaten, who taught the oneness of God before Abraham's name was heard. Let us envision the great Nefertiti, the most beautiful queen of all. Let us look at the great Timbuktu civilization before it took a fold. Walk with me through another ancient place. Let us go to Mexico and see our ancient face. Look deep. Who are you? You are the original man, the mothers and the fathers of all who have come.
Come on.
You are the first teachers of principles of divine. Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, all taught by you.
Go ahead.
You are the most ancient, and they your children.
Go ahead.
Now come, they know. No, I'm sorry. How can they know except you teach? They crawled on all fours in the west while you ruled the east.
Go ahead.
You sent your son Moses to lift them and preach. O most ancient, so far time has no time. O co creator of sun, moon, star, and creation divine.
Go ahead.
Do you know who you are? Do you really? O Father and Mother of the universe, teach of civilizations, cream of the planet Earth, God of the
Go
universe,
ahead.
Father and Mother of all language, science, math, and history.
Come on.
Come wrap yourself in blackness, the beginning of all things. Walk back through time when we were kings and queens.
Go ahead.
I can see Tutankhamun
Mm-hmm.
on the Nile and Pianki too. I ask you the question, who are you? O builder of the pyramids and holder of the secrets of the eight wonders.
Go ahead.
O mighty warrior Hannibal, I see you and on that elephant. O Shaka, I see your soldiers fierce in battle. O Queen Hatshepsut,
That's right.
I see your ancient statue. I ask you to end the mystery. O children, study your history.
Go ahead.
Osiris, Iris, rulers of the East, wrap yourself in blackness. My nigga is a negative mentality put down by old Willie children. You
Mm-hmm.
are not the niggas you were made to be,
Come on.
lynched to break us down, to make us willing slaves throughout America's towns.
Go ahead.
You aren't the free for all woman you were forced to be. When that old wicked enemy go in and out of you free.
Come on.
You aren't the stud they made you to be. You are a righteous man and woman who brought to this common place. Never forget and reflect on who you really are. Wrap yourself in blackness, my children. You are Allah God's shining star.
Come on.
Wrap up tight, for tough times are ahead,
Mm,
like a snug blanket,
mm.
so you can't be misled.
Beautiful.
All
Beautiful.
praises due to Allah.
Beautiful.
Wrap yourself in
Beautiful. Beautiful.
blackness.
Did she not do an
Oh, come on, come
excellent
on, come on.
job?
Give me some,
Did she not
give me
do an
some snaps.
excellent
Give me some
job?
snaps.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam.
Oh wow.
All right. We got a couple of people responding. We got our brother Marvin. Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for
Yes,
tuning in,
thank you
Brother
all.
Jerry. We really appreciate you all for tuning in. We pray that you all are getting something out of this. I am gonna do you ain't the one more time for those of you who didn't necessarily weren't here.
Let
I
me
will
talk about this
perform it,
poem a
but we're
little bit.
gonna talk about this right now. But I just wanted to let you all know that. And lastly, before we get into that, now this is the book that we're reading from, Sanko for Yourself, Volume 2. That's your brother that I made this book. So in here, we intentionally left some blank pages. We intentionally left some blank pages in here so that you can say code for your own self, write your own poetry, or however you decide to go in there. So when you get it, don't think we trying to cheat you or nothing. Is we left those pages in there intentionally for you to write your own poem, for you to tell your own story, for you
Absolutely.
to do with it what you please. If you want to take notes or what have you, you can do that. So when you see it, that's why we did it. But we want to talk about this. Wrap yourself in blackness. She did a wonderful,
Oh,
wonderful
no, no,
job.
his finger snaps, honey.
Wonderful, wonderful job. She
Allahu
absolutely
Akbar.
captured the spirit of that. I felt like I was reading it. I felt like I was reading that, and it was just so beautiful. And if you really listen to it, it's so much in it, and it takes you through so many places from the beginning of time, through slavery, through Kemet, through the eight wonders of the world. It takes you so many places. It talks to so many things in just a short burst of a poem. It talks to so many things in just a short burst of a poem. I really love that. Yes, sir, brother Salim, brother from Yuma. What's going on, brother? I knew who you was.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we definitely I love that piece. I love that piece.
You all give us your thoughts too
Give us
on
your thoughts.
what you've heard so far.
What you heard so far. If you've been with us for a minute, we may read all of them one more time, so that those who just coming in, they'll get an opportunity to hear. But I want to know what my beautiful wife, when she read that, what did you feel? What did you get out of that?
To be honest, I felt as I was reading that like one of the, how our ancestors feel about us. What they feel we should be doing right now. We should be learning who we are, knowing who we are, because you can't, those things that we talked about earlier, about you ain't gangster, and being a field nigga, being that tough one. Our ancestors went through so much for us, even before slavery, the things that we were going through in Egypt, the things that we were going through in Mexico, when this transition took place on our planet and the Caucasian came and started, removing our history. It's like our ancestors are telling us, look, you got to go back, because somebody stole something from you. They stole your history from you. And now you've got to read, you've got to research, you got to find out who you are. Because when you find out who you are, knowing that you are directly linked to the God, you are a child of God from his lineage.
Come on.
You are awesome. You are great. You are not what they told you you are. You
Go
are so much more than that. And I felt, that when you wrote that poem, that you were in tune with the ancestors and they were channeling through you what it is that they wanted to say to us, in that poem. And so for me, that's just what I felt. That I just felt that energy. Of our ancestors, that we gotta know who we are. We gotta grow, fam. this is not where we're supposed to be. This is not who we're supposed to be right now. You know, we are so much greater than our existence, that what we're experiencing now, where prior to COVID, go to work, go home, you know, buy a car on credit, go into debt, spend your life working trying to pay the debt off, and then you buy a house. Oh, we're so happy we got a beautiful home, but you're struggling to pay the mortgage, and then the water pipes burst, and now you got, you know what I'm saying? That ain't the life that God had planned for us.
Come on now.
He wants more than that for us. We had to go through some stuff, but we don't have to continue, because there are other options available now, family. Now it's time for us to come together, to separate from our open enemy and develop a community of safety, safe haven, peace, paradise, you know, learning who we are, developing the intuition that we have, developing that God mind where you're able to vibrate on a higher level, you know, where you just feel good. Disease is removed from your body because you ain't got the stress, you ain't got negativity, you ain't got all of this stuff that's going on in the world. See, this can be accomplished, fam. We just got to think on the thought to make it happen. So I felt the ancestors in that. I did. I just felt their spirit. You know, I felt that, you know, this is really where we have to go. We have to learn who we are, you know, and how great we are, and tell ourselves every day, so that every day we could feel better and better about ourselves, and give this to our children. You know, feed it to them in the breast in the beginning of life. You know, your mom, the mom's mind has to be right. And, you know, while you're pregnant, you know, read on your history, learn of your greatness, stand in the mirror and marvel at your black skin, because that is the essence of which all life has come.
We're gonna give it to my son in a second, but as she was saying that, I just want to share with y'all. Now you can pick that book up at etsy.com/shop, etsy.com/shop/ Nafeeza, Nafeezali, Nafeeza Ali. That is etsy.com/shop/ Nafeeza Ali. You can pick this book up right there. I'll drop it in the chat again. But as she was talking about learning and reading your history, also, you know, we also sell other books too, and these are two of them. This is a beautiful book by J.A. Rogers. We have this available for you right here. This is a beautiful book, World's Great Men of Color, Volume 1, which take us into our ancient history. And this is volume 2. This takes us into our more current history. Beautiful study of history, not super long, a whole bunch of different people in there. So if you don't have that book by J.A. Rogers, you definitely should bless yourself and your family with that. You should definitely have that as part of your collection, along with this.
That's
No.
right.
All right, we're gonna let my son talk about what did you think about that wrap yourself in blackness? How did that make you feel?
Well, it made me feel good about myself because, you know, I did have a show that I got to do again about the struggle to be yourself, but you do have to accept your own and be yourself, which is to you are a descendant of God Himself. So you're a little God yourself. And you have to accept that. And you have to realize that you have power over your reality. I mean, you do. You have power over your reality, and you have the power to change everything around you, for for the better. And as if we see ourselves like that as a community, then that'll help us to unite and to continue to improve our community. Because that's what happened. I know the Million Man March celebrations passed, but that's what happened during after the Million Man March, and the minister had us make the pledge. We saw that we can change our condition and that we can do better, and that's what we did. That's why crime went down. our communities became safer, and everything just improved. And we have to get back to that. I know that they, programmed us the television and cracking all that hit, but we can change that, and we have to,
Yes, sir.
because we are literally in a critical time right now,
Mhm.
where Satan, not the whole world, but Satan's world is going out and God's world is coming in. And it would be best if you're part of God's world, because Satan's world is going away. And so don't focus too much on, COVID and all that. Focus on what you're gonna do to help build your community. Like, if you got some land like that you can buy, or you got some land on your house that you own or whatever, figure out how can you use that to help your community. Like, do a community garden or something, help feed the homeless and other people around the area. Even get empty lots and have them and break it up, and then put a garden there, put a fence and all that. And then it's a lot of things you can do, but basically, essentially, the point is you have to accept who God made you to be.
Right.
All praises
Yes,
due
sir.
to Allah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am gonna go back for those of you who have just tuned in.
It's number 30.
Okay,
Just a reminder.
we're gonna go back again, and I'm gonna share you, and I think we're just gonna do two pieces for those of you who may have missed it. You can go back and listen to the other ones, but I do want to do this. You ain't gangster one more time. I want to do it one more time, and then I want my wife to do that. Wrap yourself in blackness one more time. So if you just tuning in with us, we're reading from this beautiful book, Sankofa Yourself, Volume 1. Your brother was blessed to write this, and it is available. I did put it in the chat. So if you like to pick that up, you can. I just want to perform this piece one more time entitled You Ain't Gangster.
All right.
All right. All right. Gangster ain't the crack man with $100,000 hand. It's the cultivator and orchestrator of the crack pack. Gangster ain't the murder of a crew or a gang or two. Gangster is the genocide being perpetrated on our brothers and sisters on the South African side with biological weapon AIDS and HIV. That's gangster. Gangster ain't the running of a block or a street. Gangster is the occupation of an entire nation with a forced system of democracy on people who want theocracy. Gangster ain't the minimal robbery of a store in our community. Gangster is the oil snatch in Iraq. Now that's gangster. Gangster ain't the street gang that don't run no thing but what's given to you to help with genocide against yourself. Gangster is the radio, the TV, the newspapers, and movie screens that can turn the whole country against you from their point of view. That's gangster. Gangster is not the street slang, but dumbing down of a whole nation around. That's gangster. Gangster is not having enough books to go around and then you come out functionally illiterate. That's gangster. Gangster ain't you got on the wrong color and kill your brother. Gangster is Jim Crow when they tell you where you can and cannot go. That's gangster. Gangster ain't the revenge of so-called gang banging friends. Gangster is the lynching, burning, mutilation perpetrated on us. How in the hell you gangster when you don't own the damn thing? Whenever they get ready to cut off the food and the water supply, they do. Does that sound gangster to you? If they ransack the hood on murder for you, what you gonna do? You got a pop gun, they got RVs and tanks. You ain't gangster. When King Leopold divided up Africa, when people were still living in it, conquered through the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, and the British, that's gangster. When Cecil Rhodes killed millions of people in the diamond mines, that's gangster. When they captured and enslaved 100 to 250 million people through division and technology, that's gangster. Stealing the whole of America, that's gangster. This is not the justification or to kill or decimate a nation. This is a wake up call. Whatever dirt they let us do is not controlled by you. From moonshine to crack, from Glocks to AKs, gangster is to have a whole people economically captive where we supply none of our own needs to a whole people because of Willie lynching. The mass corporation making millions and billions of people labor and paying slave wages. That's gangster. From pimping to scandaling, what you handling. To take away your divine rights to chastise your child, that's gangster. To create the penal system and make a new slave plantation, that's gangster. The genocide on the red man and the Mexican, that's gangster. So with your gangster walk, your gangster talk, your survival skill, you still getting pimped, played, hustled. So you ain't no gangster. Gangster is to create a superior education for your seeds to dictate your own way of life to lead. Taking control of your neighborhoods and make it a great place to live, that's gangster. To defy and even die for your queens and your seeds, that's gangster. Not this mess we manifest. Gangster is being a provider and a teacher for your child. Gangster is being a good husband to your wife. Gangster is to take care of your responsibility and not deny your seeds. That's gangster. Gangster is the removal of crack in the hood. Gangster is the reaffirmation of your illustrious history. Tell the world of your greatness and become greater than ever before. To beat the status quo, make the world respect us. It ain't rump shaking, weed smoking, or disrespecting your woman when she's the way to improve your future. If she down, you're down. Wake up, realize what real gangster is. Gangster is to compete with the world in every field from science to mathematics. Now, when you do that, we know we've gangstered our way back by God's grace to power. You ain't no gangster. You a survivalist. That's that piece.
That's that piece.
That's that piece for those who didn't hear it.
Mm.
For those who didn't get an opportunity to hear it, I wanted to perform it one more time for you, and my wife is gonna do this wrap yourself in blackness one more time. So again, we'd love to hear your comments. If you got some comments, something you want to say, I put in the chat where you can pick that book up if you would like to do so. But she's gonna read this beautiful poem one more time. Give her your attention, and here we go.
All right. Let's open our ears and hear. All right. Wrap yourself in blackness. Come, my child, wrap yourself in blackness. Come purify yourself in the depths of the Nile. Come, my people, and learn of your ancient mothers and fathers, for you are an ancient child. Your depths run deeper than the ocean and wider than the seas. Come, my children, and scroll your most ancient of histories. Walk with me, my sons and daughters of God to past times, now to you unknown. Take a hold to the key of life and let's journey through the unknown.
Okay.
Come, let us walk through Kemet, which means the land of the blacks. Let us see into the mystery schools there. Walk as the gods of math and science, language and history. Put history to the page. If you want to wrap yourself in blackness, this is how you engage.
Okay.
By reading your history through the page, let us look at the ancient hieroglyphics
Okay.
and unlock knowledge untold.
Okay.
See the last resting place of the great pharaohs like Akhenaten, who taught the oneness of God before Abraham's name was heard. Let us envision the great Nefertiti, the most beautiful queen of all. Let us look at the great Timbuktu civilization before it took a fall.
Okay.
Walk with me through another ancient place. Let us go to Mexico and see our ancient face.
Come on now.
Look deep. Who are you? You are the original man the mothers
and fathers of who have come. You are the first teachers of principles of divine.
Go ahead.
Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, all taught by you.
Go ahead.
You are the most ancient, and they your children. How can they know except you teach? They crawled on all fours in the west while you ruled the east.
Go ahead.
You sent your son Moses to lift them up and preach. O most ancient, so far time has no time. O co creator of sun, moon, star, and creation divine.
Go ahead.
Do you know who you are?
Mhm.
Do you really?
Go ahead.
O Father and Mother of the universe, teacher of civilization, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Father and Mother of all language, science, math, and history, come wrap yourself in blackness, the beginning of all things. Walk back through the time when we were queens and kings.
Go ahead.
I can see uh, Tutankhamun on the Nile and Pianki too. I ask you the question, who are you? O builders of the pyramid and holders of the secrets of the eight wonders. O mighty warrior Hannibal, I see you on that elephant. O Shaka, I see your soldiers fierce in battle.
Go ahead.
O Queen Hatshepsut, I see your ancient statue. I ask you to end the mystery. O children, study your history. Osiris, Iris, rulers of the East, wrap yourself in blackness. My niggas is a negative mentality. Put down by old willy children. You are not the niggas you were made to be, lynched to break us down, to make us willing slaves throughout America's towns. You aren't the free for all woman you were forced to be. When that old wicked enemy go in and out of you free,
Come on.
you aren't the studs they made you to be. You are a righteous man and woman who were brought to this common place.
Go ahead.
Never forget and reflect on who you really are. Wrap yourself in blackness, my children. You are Allah God's shining star. Wrap up tight, for tough times are ahead, like a snug blanket, so you can't be misled.
Oh, praise be to Allah.
All praises be to
Beautiful,
Allah.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Every time I hear that piece, it just gives me chills because it's just so much in it. We pray that you all are enjoying this book, the Sankofa Yourself Volume 1. I'll put the link in the chat where you can get this book if you would like to. You know, Black authors matter too because we got to tell our own story.
Right.
Okay, we got to tell our own story. We have to tell our own story and we have to write our own narratives.
Right.
We have to tell our own story, write our own narratives. We have to be the principle of Kuji Chakalia or self-determination in motion. We have to be that. And we have to determine those how we're gonna be viewed. We have to determine the things that we want to see and hear coming into our ears. And that is why we wrote this book.
And there's several other poems in here. Those aren't the
There's
only
several other poems in
three.
here.
Right.
We won't read all of it, of course,
Well, no,
but
we want you to get the
we
book
want
and
you to
enjoy
get
it.
it and enjoy it yourself. But like we said, so you all know that in that book, it is intentionally some pages that are left blank in here for you to actually Sankofa your own self.
That's right.
Okay, so Sankofa means to go back, to remember. That's what it means. It means to go back and remember yourself.
Right.
So you may be inspired to write a poem.
And
You
each-
may be inspired to do something too.
Right.
So that's why we left that Go ahead.
I was just gonna say each copy is actually autographed
That's
by the author. Yes, and he'll write a little something in here for you, so that you can send code for yourself. A lot of times write, we don't express ourselves, and writing helps to bring that part out of us. So maybe after you read one of his beautiful poems, um, then you'll be inspired to write something down, even if it's just something that reflects within yourself that you want to write down. There are some pages right here in this book, and you'll always have it, where you can begin your process of sancofering yourself and learning who you are, learning your history. He's just got so much in his head that when he writes his poetry, it comes out. So when you read about Akhenaten in the poem, you might want to go and say, "Well, who is that?" and do your Google search, and find out who Akhenaten is, you
or
know, or yeah,
or you can get this book
this is
from us
true,
right here
right?
called The World's Great Men of Color, Volume 1. We have this available.
Right.
And somebody asked how much, Brother Marvin, Brother Salim, he asked how much the book. The book is $12. It's only $12 to get that book. And you can go again to etsy.com/shop /Nafiza, NAFEEZAHALI, Nafiza Ali. That's right.
Yes.
Etsy.com /shop /Nafiza Ali, if you would like to have that beautiful poetry book in your home.
And we encourage you guys to purchase, of course. If you don't know, a portion of the book, a portion, 10% of the proceeds will go to Love My Kidney Foundation. And that is a foundation that we are in the process of creating to help those that are suffering from kidney disease to find alternative health modalities, being able to afford herbs and things like that that they normally would not be able to afford or don't even know is available for them. So, we are doing this fundraiser for Love My Kidney. So we really appreciate it if you go and make a purchase of Sankofa yourself, and anything else that's on that website is available. And, we would appreciate it. And we are grateful and thankful for you all tuning in with us. We were really looking forward to you all sharing maybe some of your poetry. We'll do it again because he has so much poetry. I think we're going to do our love story in the
Yeah,
near future.
yeah, we're gonna have that one available, and that one is called The Journey to Love. We'll have that one in the very near future, so that you all can actually hear those beautiful poems that your little brother wrote.
Yes.
We that thanks Sister Gracelyn for tuning in.
Yes.
I love the name Grace. I know her name is Grace Lynn, but I love the name Grace. Whenever I meet anybody named Grace, it is as though God always is talking to me just by hearing their name.
Mm,
It makes me think of the beautiful grace of Almighty God. So
yes.
I really do
Welcome,
appreciate
sister.
that.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome, welcome. Thank you. For those of you all who may have missed the poems, if you can go back, this will be up on YouTube at Mind Spark Creations on YouTube, so you can actually go there and see it, and it will be available. Let me put this up as well. Oh, I messed up. Sorry. On our podcast on Anchor FM, Anchor FM /Mind Spark Creations.
Right.
Anchor FM /Mind Spark Creations. God willing, we'll have it up later on today. So those of you who would like to go back and actually listen again, you more than welcome. Please share, 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 share,
Yes.
share. If you
Subscribe on
subscribe,
YouTube,
like,
please.
we're trying to do
We're
give
building
you
this.
valuable content,
And we're
fam.
building this, man. We're
That's
building
right.
this for not just right now, but for future people that will have an opportunity to see the YouTube channel. And also, if you don't know, at 10:30, in about 40 minutes, we're going to do the show Love My Kidneys.
That's right.
As we talked about a portion of the book, um, the proceeds is going to go to Love My Kidney Foundation. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the process of healing and how healing is a process. Okay, so that's at 10:30 in about 40 minutes. So if you guys will come back and join us with Love My Kidneys, or at least tell somebody about it so that they can participate. It is Love My Kidneys. You can go to that channel on Facebook.
Yeah,
Love My Kidneys.
Love My Kidneys, and this is it's called Love My Kidneys, but it is about health and wellness in
All around.
general, all around, mentally, spiritually, physically, and by all means. So we thank you so much, Brother Salim, for your
Thank you, brother.
blessings. We thank Sister Graceland for tuning in, Brother Jerry for tuning in. And
Thank you.
even if we don't see your name and you're tuning in, we thank you for tuning in, even if it was just for a few seconds. We thank you and are grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule
Mhm.
to come and be with us just for a moment. If you find value in what we're doing, if that you don't always have to give money, but if you would like to, the Cash App is scrolling across your screen. And that's the Queen of Rap, WRAP 19. That's the Cash App if you want to donate there. But if not, you can go to our store and buy something if you like to support that way, or share, subscribe. Let people know about what we're doing. Let them know that you found value in what it was that you heard here today. All praise is due to
And we do
Allah.
recognize
Thank
that,
you.
your presence is charity as well.
We do
You know,
recognize that.
this is our mission,
Yeah.
and this is our ministry. This,
Yeah.
we try to bring light and life to our people in different forms, different ways, letting us know that we're not alone in this world, and that there is a better way. There is another way, and that way is with God. And whatever we can do to share and bring some light and happiness, that is our mission, and that is what we would love your support in helping us to do. So again, thank you all so very much. It has truly been a pleasure today.
All right.
Anything else?
And as always, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. We love you. God loves you most of all. And always remember to continue to let the spark in your mind create a new reality. Thank you, fam. Assalamu alaikum, peace, hotep, all that good stuff. Love you, love you, love you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Some